Hey, I'm Brian, and I challenged myself to make a game kinda like No Man's Sky in 1 week. It came out much better than expected. Let's start by making some planets. I used Sebastian Lake's planet tutorial. First, we generate a sphere, but no, this one is no good. Look at the amount of triangles at the top and the amount of triangles in the middle. It's uneven, goddammit. The way around this is to make a square instead, and then bend it into the shape of a sphere. So even. Very nice. Next, we get some noise, and add progressively finer layers of it. Lastly, we get a color gradient and apply it onto the planet. They're lacking some features I want, like an atmosphere, but it's a good start. Next, we need to make it look like we're in space. So I removed the skybox, made a bright glowing sphere, and wrote a script to scatter lots of them around far away from us. I then made another sphere and put it in the center. A while back, I made a plane controller, so I made a placeholder ship and wired it up. I added an Elite Dangerous style thrust bar and changed some camera code around so it feels more like you're flying a spaceship. It would actually be cool if we could land on them. I wanted to initiate the landing when you get close enough, but even when I was really close to the planet, it still told me I was 5,000 units away from it. So yeah, I fixed that, and now we just align the ship with the surface. I tracked that problem down to my maths being wrong. Surprise. I made a little invisible square at the bottom of the ship that locks us in place when we touch the planet. And then we can take off again by pressing F. Day 3, I thought I'd code walking on the planet. Normal character controllers are quite easy, but with a sphere, let's just say it gets more complicated. Oh look, Sebastian Lake has a tutorial on this. So I made that, and now we want to switch between walking and flying. Okay, so now we can land and fly between planets with this warp drive thing I added. First, I remade the warp effect, because I forgot to save my project yesterday. I decided to make the game look prettier. I made a sphere and added a water shader I made in my previous island video. Now look at these harsh lines. Yuck. I added some foam to mask it a bit. Then I got intimidated by the rest of my task lists and decided to make the UI look better. Look at this cool cursor changing thingy I added. Because coding realistic atmospheres is kind of intimidating, I decided to give the planets some rings instead. The rotation of the rings made the game run at like 5 FPS, so I had to make them stand still. Well, in day 5, I added mining, which looks pretty cool, so I wanted to show you it. But let's move on to the real pressing matter. Day 6. Actual procedural generation. You see, right now, we can make a planet and stars and shit using a bunch of sliders and boxes. Then move the planets to the places we want manually. But I want to be able to press one button and have a whole completely random solar system pop out. I started with the planets. It took me a while to even get a plain sphere to generate. It kept telling me stuff didn't exist when I know it exists, goddammit. After I finally got the shape to generate, I found values which look good and generated a planet in between those values. Now, coloring it procedurally is a bit harder. I generate one color, then I either pick an opposite color on the color wheel or a color right next to it. Then I get those two colors and generate a bunch of different shades of both. Then I apply them to the planet. Now, with the press of a button, we can make an entirely random planet, which makes generating the solar system pretty easy. I started by giving the star a random bright color, generated 2 to 8 planets, and it's done. My friend Schlabby made me a ship, so I added that in too. With how this is set up, I think I can actually generate a whole galaxy pretty easily and jump around it like No Man's Sky or Elite Dangerous. I also want to make the planets much more complex, but that would require a whole video in itself. So I'm going to leave it here for now. See you next video.